Good evening and a very warm welcome to FRL Racing League PureSimGear Super Sprint Sunday for round 4 from Snetterton. We're about 12 miles from the Norfolk town of Thetford, which is about 19 miles, 31 kilometres southwest of Norwich. So Norfolk, the birthplace of some very popular and fast racing drivers such as Martin Brundle, and of course the modern day George Russell, who's in Formula 1 this evening in the Miami GP. But we are in Norfolk, we're at Snetterton, and the conditions, it is a fairly cloudy but warm day in Norfolk, and the day in reality in the UK, it's been a fantastic sunny day here in the UK today, with temperatures reaching 20 degrees, and that has pretty much reflected to what we're seeing in the server. 22 degrees air temp at the moment with 28 track, but there is a little bit of rain just around the area, and we're seeing that on the radar now with 15 minutes to go, which could put a sprinkling of rain on the track ahead of qualifying. We shall see how that develops in the next 10 minutes when the server resets to qualifying. But anyway, welcome along. If you are watching live, thank you for joining the live stream. Don't forget to drop a like on the video, and then also if you have not yet subscribed, to whack that subscribe button. There is plenty more action coming along in the coming weeks and months from FRL across both PlayStation and PC. There is also, in addition to ACC, there is also Formula 1 and iRacing that you can take part in at FRL. So to whack the subscribe button to keep your eyes out for that. So we've got about 3 minutes of free practice to go. So let's just give you a quick rundown of the championship standings. So focusing on the pro category, Ahmed Al-Douri currently leads the championship with 228 points. However, he's not racing tonight, so the door is absolutely wide open for Adam Anderson, who is second in the pro category with 196 points. So Anderson, who is in the lobby tonight, is racing. Here he is, the 888 Porsche. He's currently in the pits. He's sitting P8 in the free practice at the moment. As I said, that door is wide open from Ahmed Al-Douri to try and gain some points on the man in first place. Heading down to third, we've got Francisco Souza with 184, so only 12 points behind Anderson. We then have Dan Naisbitt in fourth place with 175. Fifth is Marco Patriarca in the Audi. Sixth is Mario Asensio. Seventh is Paul Trotman. Eighth is Will Friedman. Ninth is Jay Wazza. 10th is Alessandro Spanu. And 11th is Tom Fagan. We do have a couple more runners in the pro category, but they've missed a couple of rounds, so their scores are right down. One of those being is Nikola Buzov. He's not actually raced with us for a couple of weeks, but he's back in the lobby tonight. He's currently quickest in free practice, the number 95 Mercedes. He's all the way down to 14th in the championship after a pretty disastrous start to the season at Laguna Seca, where he did not finish the second race. And he hasn't raced here last week. He missed last week at the Hungaroring, so he's right down in the championship standings. But he is a quick driver on his day. So anyway, that's the pro category. Moving along to AM, where I think the action is going to be quite spicy tonight. We've got a lot of AM drivers on the grid tonight, as you can see by the designated red colours on your left-hand side of your screen. So leading the championship with 200 points exactly is Michael Mornix. He's in the BMW, the number 41. This is Cletus on your screens. He's in the pits, currently fourth fastest in free practice. So Michael leads with 200 points. Second place is Daniel McCutcheon. Danny McCutcheon, here he is, the 778 Aston Martin. He's on 192, so only 8 points behind Michael in first. Third is Matthew Lemon with 180, so 20 points off the lead. And he, I believe, is also in the lobby. Here he is. It's MPL there, car 393. Fourth is Gordon Captain. Fifth is Jamie Rees. Sixth is Jacko Van Eck. Seventh is Chris Gedman, who's watching us on the live stream. Good evening, Chris. Hope you have a good race, mate. Happy hunting. Eighth is Ben Berriman. Ninth is Lee Bailey. 10th is Camille Clack. 11th is Michael Clark. 12th is Kari Matti Naikanen. I always butcher that pronunciation of his surname, so I do apologise. Kari. And then we've got a couple of others who, as well, who towards the bottom of the grid, who I won't read out because they have only been racing for 1 week out of the 4, so they are right down the leaderboards. But yeah, just to summarise, their pro category is Ahmed Aldori, Adam Anderson and Francisco Salza, and then the AM category is Michael Mornick, Stanley McCutcheon and Matthew Lemon. So that is your championship standings from both pro and AM. So, if you're new to the format or new to FRL, just a reminder, the format for tonight, we have a 15-minute qualifying session that is shortly due to get underway. Then we have a 20-minute sprint race with no boundary pit stop, and then a 40-minute feature race. Jackie Van Eyck, good luck all. Good to have you with us, Jackie. I'll be watching the Formula 1 after the race. I've got it on record actually, so I'll be straight off the commentary after this is finished and downstairs with a cup of tea and a bar of chocolate watching that. Hopefully it's a decent race, though if I was a betting man, I'll still suspect Max Verstappen to be towards the top of the grid. Michael Firth, FRL stream, perfect washing up content. Wow. Yeah, I mean, if you watch us while doing your washing up, then fair enough. Just be careful though, because you could get distracted watching the stream, and you could take you 40 minutes to do the washing up, and then you'll have the wife nagging in your ear all saying, why is it taking you so long to do the washing? Oh, it's a double-edged sword, mate. So, free practice is over, and we've got a couple of minutes just for the server to reset, and qualifying will be underway. We've got 22 cars tonight. We are missing a few full-time drivers, and hence you can probably tell the drivers are 333. Let's pick that up. That's Stereotypy. Let's go on board with Stereotypy. So we've got wet conditions, and the rain is due to lighten up a little bit in 5 minutes, and then in 15 minutes it's forecast to be stopping raining. But we could be having a very kind of dash to the line. The last person across the line could get pole here, because the track conditions could really improve lap by lap. So it's going to be, I suspect, an up and down qualifying. Drivers should be used to wet conditions, because we've had a few weeks of wet races now in FRL. We use real weather to set the server conditions. So this time of year, you know, April and May, you can get obviously those showers, especially racing in England. If you're not from England, then let me tell you, this time of year, 1 minute it can be 20 degrees and getting slight sunburn on your face, and then an hour later having thunderstorms and just everything being soaking. But you can always rely on the British to be outside no matter the weather, barbecuing if it is double digits in the temperature, and it's currently 21 degrees in server. So these fans will be getting some soggy sausages if they are barbecuing. It's currently raining. So Stereotypy is coming around the tricky right-hander. It's probably the hardest corner, or the second hardest corner on this track. I absolutely hate this corner. I drive a Porsche this season, and it's just a nightmare to try and get that car straight and on track around there. But he's round the final corner of Murray's, and he's now coming down the Senna straight. So Stereotypy is going to be the first driver across the line, the 333 Audi, and he will go into the fast right-hander of Richards and into the hairpin of Montreal. Oh, the back end there, stepping out a little bit, so we've got the heavy braking now at the hairpin of Montreal. Got to get that car stopped. Down the first gear, he misses the apex a little bit, but he'll get the speed on the exit. He's then got the right-hander of Palmer. Beautiful shot there of the Audi coming around, so on the power, and you've got to get a real good speed down here into the left-hander hairpin of Agostini. Again, heavy braking, keep it tight, on the power early. Then you've got a tricky technical section now. You've got the fast left-hander of Hamilton. You've got to be careful not to go too wide. And this curb on the exit can really unsettle the car if you take too much of it. Right-hander of Oggies. Again, early on the power, you can really take that corner with a lot more speed than what you think. And then we have the right-hander of Williams. Exit is very important as we're now on to the Bentley straight. And now we're coming up to the left-hander of Brundle and the right-hander of Nelson under the bridge. This is probably the hardest part of Snetterton, in my opinion. You have to kind of heavy braking with the car at an angle, get it right slow down, massive curve on the entry to Nelson. And then we have a corner called Bomb Hole. I said bomb, not bum. We have the long right-hander, which is like a quadruple right-hander. I'm not going to say that corner name in the race, Bomb Hole, because the amount of times I'm probably going to be tempted to say bum rather than bomb. Right, so where are we? Left-hander of Murray's onto this start-finish straight, and stereotypically should be the first driver across the line to set a flying lap as he goes a little bit on the grass there. Does he set a time? He does, a 1 minute 58.2. It looks like Chris Gedman just up ahead leaving the pit lane as well. He's boxing straight away, so probably the tyres are not up to temperature or up to speed. Jamie Rees coming across the start line now. He doesn't set a time at starting a lap. We've then got Cletus, the number 41 BMW. I'm not sure if these drivers are starting flying laps or finishing, so we'll just see if the times do flash up on the leaderboard, and Cletus does. He goes with a 156.8. We then have Will Freeman across the line, 1.4 seconds off. Then we've got Daniel McCutcheon now coming across in the Aston Martin. He's got the two Aston Martins following in 2x2 formation. Daniel McCutcheon goes P5, MPR goes P4. MPR's going to have to back off it because he's surely being held up by McCutcheon. You should be allowing yourself some space in qualifying, so not sure why these two are racing. McCutcheon lets him go, and MPR goes off track. That's Matthew Lemon. Three, 2, 3. That is Call Me CJ. I believe a reserve in for tonight. Coming across the line, and he goes provisional third place. A good lap there from the amateur category driver, Call Me CJ. Let's just bring up our very own Chris Gedman to see where he is. He's coming around the right-hander of Coram now. It's got to be really tricky corner in these conditions. The back end will just be one thing to step out. But the BMW is a nice and stable car, so he should be okay. He's round the left-hander of Murray's. Is Chris Gedman going to set a qualifying time here? Or is this the start of his lap? I think this could be the start of his lap. It is. He left the pit lane in the last lap round, so this is the start of Chris Gedman's lap. In fact, let's just go on board with Chris Gedman actually in car. Just bear with me while I flick to him. Here he is. Apologies for the screen flickering there while I brought up the right car, but here we are on board with Chris Gedman. And just see how tricky some of these slower technical corners are. So this is the left-hander hairpin of Agostini. He gets the car stopped quite well, and then he's in a high traction control. Chris TC9 running to try and get that car stable on traction. Left-hander of Hamilton, and then the right-hander of Oggies. This is a bit of a weird corner, Oggies. I find you can get up the power so much earlier and harder than you think. And the right-hander of Williams, again, don't go too wide on this exit curve because it could really unsettle the car on traction, and the traction is all important down this Bentley straight. And as I said a few minutes ago, this left-hander of Brundle and right-hander of Nelson, Brundle and Nelson, it's a real tricky corner. It's just the car doesn't want to stop securely in an off angle. Do not want to touch that sausage curb. And then you got the right-hander. I'm not going to say it. And then Coram. Nice and steady there by Chris. The car was nice and stable. And the left-hander of Murray's What kind of time does Chris Gedman set? It's 1:57.3 from the 79 BMW of Chris Gedman. So Cletus is currently your provisional pole setter with a 1:56.1. 2/10 off is Matthew Clark. Jamie Rees is third. Moggs, the pro driver, is fourth. Boozoff is fifth. Call Me CJ sixth. Gedman seventh. Trotty eighth. And Sarah Tippy ninth. And Will Freeman is 10th. That's the top 10 in qualifying thus far. But as Michael has commented on the YouTube stream, this is going to be changeable conditions. Dazza, even though it's called Bombhole, everyone in the UK motorsport knows it as Bumhole, so you're okay. Thanks, I'm pleased I'm not the only one. As Mog, the 14 Ferrari Pro category driver, places that Ferrari on provisional pole. And Boozoff follows with Stereotypy. So pro drivers are just starting. Pro drivers are just starting to get up to speed. The top three for a moment were held by AM category drivers, but the top three are now held with them pro drivers. And starting to set the pace. As you see, the rest of the field are over a second off now. We have the 88 of Lee Bailey coming across in the Porsche. Porsche is a quick car around here. Nice and nimble through the middle sector. Lee Bailey only good enough for 11th place at the moment. And there are still a number of cars not yet set the qualifying time. Now the reason for that is because we have a number of cars serving qualifying bans. I believe we're meant to have 4 tonight, so if there is a number of cars not yet setting a time, that is why. They are serving qualifying bans due to amassing a certain amount of points on their FRL licence. That is the punishment for racking up points in incidents or visiting the steward's room enough times. You will get those points and you can serve qualifying bans and even race bans if it continues to go in the wrong direction. So Danny McCutcheon here, all the way down in 14th. He's currently the slowest runner of anyone who's set a time. You know, that is not unlike Danny. He's second in the championship. He will be wanting to get that Aston Martin placed higher up the grid. What can he do? Can he improve? He does. He goes second in class, 5th place overall provisionally. So that's a better lap from Danny McCutcheon. As I always say when it's raining, he'll be used to these conditions. He's from Scotland. It's raining all the time up there, so he's like a duck to water in these conditions. I say that actually, and the track has actually stopped raining and it's changed to damp, so this is where I think we could get a crazy couple of minutes because the track is just going to improve lap by lap here. So I think this pole position is anybody's game. It's going to be the last person across the line, trust me. Will Freeman is about to come across the line. He's currently P12. Can he get that McLaren higher up? He's currently I believe the only McLaren running tonight. He does, he goes provisional pole position, Will Freeman 1:54.8. So that is a sign the track is increasing with conditions. We have the number 18 of Pixel of Chaos, another Aston Martin. What can he do? Currently 18th. Is he going to fly up the leaderboard as well? He does, up to 5th. Jamie Rees here as well. Chris Gedman behind him, the 79 BMW. We'll just see what Jamie Rees can do. He's currently sitting in provisional P8, second in class in AM. He does not improve. Does Gedman? Gedman doesn't, but he could be starting a flying lap. He could have been in the pits. I think we have Goggs. Yep, Goggs captain is coming across the line. He's just starting a lap as well. Apologies. I don't never know which drivers are starting and finishing laps. So, 2 minutes to go, ladies and gents, and Will Freeman, the smoking Frenchman, is the provisional pole sitter, as Danny McCutcheon places that Aston Martin 4th on grid, fastest overall in AM category. let's just keep an eye on the top of that leaderboard because it could change rapidly in the next minute and a half. Morex from the back of the grid, first flying lap, straight to the top of the leaderboard. The 99 Audi with a 1 minute 54.572 goes almost 3/10 quicker than Will Friedman. Matthew Clark has also placed the BMW into P5. I've got a number of cars off the track there at turn 2, the hairpin down to Montreal. Let's just jump on board with Dan Naisbitt. He's currently the slowest pro driver. He's 19th overall. He won't want to be sitting there in the Lamborghini. Pixel of Chaos. Wow. Look at the top 3. I've got Cletus as well, who's gone provisional 3rd place. So that is the top 3 covered by 1/10 of a second here at Snetterton. We've still got 40 seconds to go. There's still going to be a number of cars coming across the line and improving. Chris Gedman is one of them. Can he improve from 14th? He does, but it's only good enough for 11th safe. But it's going to have time for another lap. We've got Captain as well coming across, sitting in 20th. He goes up to P4, so big improvement from Captain. We're on board with Moggs now. Is he going to get across the line in time for another flying lap? I think he is. He's got 10 seconds to go. The line is coming up, so Moggs currently sitting 6th, number 14 Ferrari. He goes provisional pole with a 154.1. He's going to get time for another lap. Danny McCutcheon's done. That's McCutcheon finished 9th at the moment, as we've got a Mercedes in the background doing some grass cutting impressions. Let's pick up Jamie Rees. He's sitting in 11th. Oh, he's boxed. That's his qualifying done with. So Moggs is the current provisional pole sitter with a 154. Matthew Clark! Wow! Matthew Clark goes pole with a 153.6. Derek Tippy with 10th behind him. This is the track is ramping up. Here comes Moritz. Moritz is done. Moritz is out of qualifying. P4 at best. Who have we got coming across the line? We've got Tristan, WR Tristan, he's boxing as well. We've got the number 41 of Cletus. Can Cletus take pole position here for the AM category? Clark is currently sitting on pole. Can Cletus beat him? He doesn't improve. He doesn't improve. We've got the 242. That is Daniel Naisbitt. He's currently sitting in 20th. He's a long way down, Naisbitt. He's got to improve, surely. He does. He goes 3rd. Naisbitt goes 3rd. And Pixel of Chaos behind him takes pole position at Snetterton. But hang on, we've still got a couple of cars still to go. We've got Chris Gedman and we've got Goggs, I believe. Yes, we have. We've got Captain and Gedman still to come across the line. There's Moggs as well. Yeah, Moggs is still running as well. He's off. Moggs has got yellow flags actually at the exit of Nelson. So Moggs is done. Chris Gedman coming across the line. He's not improving. But what can Captain do? Oh, he's ditched it as well. So I think, unless Lee Bailey is going to produce an absolute shocker here, we've got a pole sitter of Pixel of Chaos. Now, in fact, I'm not going to say it until Lee crosses the line here, because I don't want to. Oh, he's done. That's it. So, wow, that qualifying, I think, a little bit like the real world of F1. We've got a right mixed up grid there. We've got an unexpected top 5, I would say. No disrespect to the drivers in that top 5, but those were not the drivers I was expecting to be at the sharp end of the leaderboard, given some of the quick drivers in this lobby tonight. But Pixel of Chaos, I believe, and Pixel, correct me if I'm wrong after the stream if you watch this back, I believe that is your first pole position in FRL. So if it is, huge congratulations, but what a lap. So with 153.287, so Pixel of Chaos takes pole position here at Snetterton. Matthew Clark for the AM category, 2nd overall, great lap from him. Stereotypy's 3rd, Naisbitt is 4th, Moggs is 5th, Morex is 6th, Cletus is 7th, Captain 8th, Friedman is 9th, Boozoff is 10th, McCutcheon 11th, Trotty 12th, Jimmy Rees 13th, Chris Gedman 14th, Call Me CJ 15th, Anderson is 16th. Anderson, that is a poor result from Adam Anderson, considering he is 2nd in the championship. He's got a massive opportunity tonight to gain points on Ahmed Aldoori, who is not racing, leading the championship Aldoori. Anderson only being 16th is a disappointment for him. He's going to have a lot of work ahead of him if he wants to gain some points on Aldoori. MPL is 17th, Bailey is 18th, HPA Gamers 19th, KM 20th, Smithy 21st, and Tristan 22nd. So those three drivers were serving a qualifying ban, so were unable to set a qualifying time. Whew, well, I think this is going to be an extremely entertaining couple of races with that grid. I said there is some drivers out of position, I would say. The likes of Anderson, the likes of Friedman, Morex, Buzoff, those are the drivers you'd expect to be towards the sharp end of the grid, but they're not. They didn't get the laps in. Pixel Chaos, Clark, Stereotyping, Naisbitt, they did, and they are rightly in their respective positions on the grid. So, we've got a couple of minutes to go for the first sprint race tonight. Just a reminder, it's 20 minutes, there is no pit stop, there is no mandatory fuel or tyres, it's just 20 minutes of straight racing around a greasy Snetterton in Norfolk. So I'll be back with you in a minute or two when the server resets. So, ladies and gents, here we are, cars on the grid just before the formation lap, and look at these conditions. We've got light rain here in Norfolk, damp conditions, and it's going to stay this way for 50 minutes. We've got a wet race here for the 20-minute sprint race. A couple of drivers just saying on Discord how a little bit of tricky conditions. Morgan Grace, which is Moggs on your screen, is number 14 Ferrari, just saying he was on wet tyres, had time in the pocket, but on the wrong sets. When it's conditions like that, it's all about being on the right tyre at the right time. When the track changes to greasy, you're probably better off being on those slick tyres, but with the right pressures. So guys, there's quite a lot of you watching live, so thank you for joining us live, but please do drop a like on the video to smash that thumbs up. It'd be appreciated for the FRL gods. Jay Brooker, what do you call a one-legged turkey? Wobble wobble. Wow, that is certainly fascinating jokes for us in the evening, Jay. Probably better off being in the car, mate, than with them jokes. But I hope you're looking forward to racing with me on PC, Jay. Hopefully my PC will be here in a couple of weeks, and I will be joining the FRL PC Master Race. Looking forward to doing some endurance races.
30 seconds.
Hopefully the PC is
20 seconds.
goes into building stage this week, but you never know with PC specialists. So anyway, enough about my new PC, and we are 10 seconds away from the start of the formation lap, as we've got cars on the grid with wet tyres, I assume. Window wipers going. And let's just jump on board. There we go, look. So Pixel of Chaos, I'm pretty sure this is his first pole position. I feel like I've not seen him on pole before, and I've been racing with FRL for, I don't know, 12, 15 months now. So if it is his first pole, he will not be used to leading the field around. It is different set of nerves, I always feel. I always get a lot more nervous when I'm leading the pack, if I've managed to somehow get pole position. And it's quite nerve-wracking, especially going into the first corner. You just don't want to screw it up. And Matthew Clark, a great qualifying lap from Matthew Clark, all the way from Texas. Stereotypy third, Naisbitt fourth from the Lamborghini. Now, I know he'll be watching this after the race and he'll be desperate for me to be on board with him in that Lambo, just to hear that Lambo engine. But I'm going to make him wait a little bit longer in this stream. We'll try and get on board with him during the race. Grace, Moggs, number 14 Ferrari, repping the T1 SR colours livery. Morex, Cletus, Captain, Friedman, Buzov, that's the top 10. Cars just slowly making their way around. Apologies. So with limited running, they've only had, what, 15 minutes of qualifying. A lot of drivers may not have had proper running in these conditions, so the tyre pressures for the wet tyres could be completely off and not at their optimum temperature. I mean, your perfect PSIs for wets are around about 30, I believe, 30 PSI, or between 30 and 30.5. So it'll be interesting to see how many drivers have managed to get that right. I suspect a lot of drivers will be running here. We're just estimating what the PSIs should be in these conditions, and if they are not right, you could have a set of boots on that car extremely overheating. It's just going to eat into your lap time. But it's only a 20-minute race, so you just got to get through it. So let's go to the helicopter camp as the cars go into their Noah's Ark 2x2 formation. We've got 5 different manufacturers in the top 5. We've got an Aston Martin on pole, BMW in second, Audi third, a Lamborghini in fourth, and a Ferrari fifth. It's exactly what you want to see from GT3 racing, with the different manufacturers going at it door to door, wheel to wheel, as the drivers are about to get going. Let's just go back onto that helicam, sorry. Pixel of Chaos. Clark is just right beside him. If anything, Clark's a little bit ahead of him at the start. Pixel of Chaos is a little bit out of position, I think, because Clark's got a bonnet of the BMW ahead of him. We're about to go racing for the sprint race at Snetterton, and Clark is straight away. It's a bad start from Pixel of Chaos. He's been swallowed up by 4 cars. So Pixel of Chaos, he's maybe even 5 down the inside. Oh, there's contact between Cletus. That is Cletus. Can he keep it out of the barrier? He's kept it out of the barrier, but this is an awful start from Pixel of Chaos. He's just been swallowed up by a number of cars, and now we're going to go 3 wide, and there's contact. He's been spun around. He's been spun around again. There's 3 cars involved. Deary me. Oh dear. 3 cars involved with that, and we've got Cletus and Morex, I think. Or is that Captain? I can't quite work out who that is. It could be MPL. It's MPL up the inside of Cletus. Let's just go to the front of the grid. Oh, it's not Pixel of Chaos. Or is it? It is, sorry, the UI was completely confusing the commentator there. I was having an absolute moment. So let's just go towards the front of the grid. So Matthew Clark leads. We've got Stereotypy in second, Naisbitt third, Moggs fourth. Moggs is putting Naisbitt under a hell of a lot of pressure here on the opening lap. Let's just go on board with the Ferrari. He's going to have a great run out here, Naisbitt here. Naisbitt going to have to go defensive, heading into the left-hander of Brundle. This is going to be a very hard corner to overtake. So Moggs is going to pull out in the slipstream. He is. What's he going to do? Naisbitt has got the perfect defensive line though. Moggs round the outside. Oh, there's contact between the two. I think Naisbitt tries. Oh, dear me. We've got 2 cars, 3 cars off track. That is unfortunate. I think that's Will Friedman who's been caught up in that. Moggs is keeping out of trouble. He's rejoining the track safely, which is what we want to see. And we've got more cars off back here. There's just, that's Smithy going off. The two Porsches side by side now. What's going to happen here? Banged up Porsche there on Smithy. We've got the 9 of HP8 Gamer. So let's just go to the order and just see what we got cracking here. So we've got Stereotypy, we've got Naisbit. So Naisbit went defensive against Moggs, and he just acted, it looked like it was just racing contact. I think he then tried to like almost re-correct his spin by nudging him, but then that just sent him off even more. And then I think Freeman got the kind of the innocent bystander coming in and just got wiped out as well. So we've got a number of cars going off grid in the opening lap or two. So Clark is under pressure here, and Stereotypy is piling the pressure on the AM category driver. But these drivers, these two, are pulling away nicely from the rest of the field so far. But Clark won't be used to this situation, defending the lead. He's got 16 minutes to do it in this sprint race. And Morex has now got by Naisbit, so Morex is one hell of a quick driver, so he could be quickly catching Stereotypy and Clark. We'll keep an eye on that 3-second gap. Here's Naisbit. Boozoff is up from 9th position, I think, or 10th. Around Boozoff qualified a little bit further down, so he's got to 5th place already with the help of Moggs. And Freebets, we've got Captain's in the barrier. He's lost it on braking into Brundle, and he's going to go down. Jamie Rees has actually got the purple lap so far. Jamie Rees and McCutcheon goes past Captain, and there's Cletus as well. Oh, McCutcheon's off. McCutcheon's almost lost it. He's lost 2 places. Cletus goes past. Where's Matthew Lemon? Matthew Lemon is coming up to McCutcheon now. He ain't going to be able to get by. Apologies, my wife was just bringing me some salted caramel chocolate. How very nice of her. So, where are we? Clark still leads. Stereotypy 2nd, Morex 3rd, Boozoff 4th, Naisbit 5th, Jamie Rees 6th, Captain 7th, Cletus 8th, McCutcheon 9th, and MPL 10th. Got a right close battle here between these AM drivers. Let's get on board with these guys. This looks like a right ding-dong battle. Let's just try and get on board. Here we are. So we're on board with Danny McCutcheon in the 778 Aston Martin. We've got Cletus up ahead, and we've got that damaged Audi of Captain. We saw him hit the barrier. Here is Cletus. Such a tricky mid-infield section, this part of the track. Gaps are all just fairly consistent at the moment. Here's Captain. He's not going to be close enough to make a move. But there is some action going on behind him. And this is KM and Matthew Lemon battling away. And Adam Anderson, he is running P12, and he's almost going side by side with KM. Oh, there's contact between KM. The 909 Audi has been spun round. Anderson's at fault there. That was sloppy from Adam Anderson. He's going to have to try and make up these places though, because he's got a golden opportunity tonight to make up places with Ahmed Al-Douri not racing. It looks like he's struggling. He is struggling in that Porsche. He's going to be vulnerable now to Tristan. We can see Tristan in the back. Here's the rear view spoiler of that Porsche. We see Tristan, we see Friedman. Is Friedman going to go on the outside of Tristan? He isn't. Here is Tristan. Oh, he's gone wide, and that's going to open the door for Friedman. Friedman goes on through, so Friedman takes P12. And in the background, we've got KM and we've got Moggs. There's more contact between Moggs and KM. Moggs has spun round. Oh, his race is going from bad to worse. Now, what's happened here? Apologies, I've missed some action at the top. So Matthew Clark is still leading, But Stereotypy has found himself all the way down in 5th place. So he's made a mistake somewhere. Morex is now in 2nd. Boozoff is up to 3rd. Naisbit 4th. Stereotypy's 5th. Jamie Rees still in 6th. Captain 7th. Cletus 8th. McCutcheon 9th. And MPL. McCutcheon is right close now though to Cletus. He could have an opportunity going into Brundle and Nelson. So can he get the move done into the heavy braking underneath the bridge? He isn't. But this looks like where the battle is on track at the moment between these guys. This is the battle really for the AM podium. So Matthew Clark, who's leading the race overall, but obviously still first in class. And then you've got Jamie Rees in 2nd in class, and Captain 3rd. So this battle between Rees, Captain, Cletus and McCutcheon and even MPL, but he's 3 seconds down the road. And this is the battle for AM podium. And we've got one car retired from the race, and that is Smithy, and he's not running. So unfortunate though for Pixel of Chaos, pole position sitter, and he's all the way down in 20th position for Bangor Aston Martin. He just had a poor start. He got quickly swallowed up with what was happening. Let's just see what's going on here with KM and Tristan. These two are quite close on track. Oh, we've got a car up ahead. That's the Porsche. That's Adam Anderson. Adam Anderson, the 888 Porsche, is off. The title challenger in pro category is off track. He's going to have significant damage in that Porsche. And he's going to be holding up a lot of these drivers now. So he's got Tristan in the back. He's got KM. And you've got Bailey getting involved as well. There's Morgan, Grace, Moggs. Battle for what, 12th, 13th, 14th here. Moggs is having a look at the inside. He's not going to send it up. Oh, he is. He's got a... KM went a little bit deep. I think Moggs is going to get this corner. Battle for 14th here. The Ferrari's going to have the better line into this right-hander. Left-hander, apologies. So Moggs takes 14th. But Adam Anderson is really struggling here. Golden opportunity to gain points on the leader, Ahmed Aldori, who is not racing tonight. But he's not taking advantage of it so far. He's down in 12th. We almost head into the halfway point of this race. We just see Will Friedman and Matthew Lemon battling away. Friedman, who is a little bit out of position here, he's got a number of cars up ahead who are not in his category. Here's Tristan having a look at the inside of Anderson. That Porsche will be carrying damage as we see it smash into the barrier on the exit of turn 1 Richards, as we see Moggs gets a better exit, and oh, Tristan's boxing. Tristan's box.
Halfway through, not over yet.
So Moggs now moves up to 12th. Anderson's up to 11th now. The gap in front is now gone to 4 seconds. Matthew Clark is having an absolute storming race up ahead. I think this could be his debut win. In fact, I'm going to go double check that before the end of this race. Connected. That was like a flying Audi at Back to the Future, but I think he's still on track. So there's a bit of lag there in the server, but yeah, as I was saying, the gaps in the top 6 are quite consistent. It's all 3 seconds between everyone, but the battle for 6th and the podium for AM is still on. Cletus is following Captain with a gap of about 4 to 5 tenths, half a second. Moggs is now under pressure from KM. Still raining and the track is still damp. We've got think MPL Matthew Lemon has made a mistake. He's now under pressure from the Porsche of Anderson. Practically pushing that Aston Martin around the corner. Who's going to get the better exit? That Porsche is not great with straight line power though, so that Aston Martin should be able to defend going in to the right hander of turn 1. As we see the Audi there, the background of KM weaving to try and get some pressure into his tyres by the looks of it, try and get some heat into his tyres. Can Anderson make a dart at the inside? He's going to go for it. He is! Oh, there's contact between the two! Oh, Moggs is going to go on through, I think. KM's gone deep, Moggs goes through, and Anderson's waiting. That's fair play to Anderson. He is waiting for Matthew Lemon to let him by. It was a driver error from Anderson there. He really is not taking an opportunity with Ahmed Al-Dawi not racing. Just going back to Clark, incredible drive so far. I hope he actually does finish the 7 minutes off, because it's been a superb drive from him so far, and to keep the gap to Morex is no mean feat. Morex is an extremely quick driver. I think I've been calling him Matthew as well. His name's Michael. Michael Clark. Oh well, same thing. Matthew, Michael, tomato, tomato. So, what I wanted to find out was what has Michael Clark done before with race wins, and I am happy to confirm he is not yet a race winner in FRL. So if Michael Clark can keep this position in the race for the final 6.5 minutes, this will be his first FRL victory. He's had 3 podiums before, 28 races, 3 podiums. So it's a 10% podium rate for Michael Clark. But he's about to whack some percentage points in the race win category if he can hold on. But Morex is 3 seconds behind and just starting to close that gap. This is where it gets really nerve-wracking for a race leader. If you've not yet won a race, you're not used to this position, this is where it can get a little bit nervy, especially when you see the likes of Morex behind you, who is quick. And let's not forget, Michael here is running in the AM category, so this would be a surprise, a turn up for the books if an AM driver wins the overall race. Because in theory, it should be the pro drivers. Let's just jump on board with Stereotypy, because he was running quite closely behind Naisbitt, but he's now, I think he's made a mistake. He's now got Cletus right behind him. Let's jump on board with Cletus in the car. Oh, I think joined Tristan running off track. So here is Cletus. Currently running second in class. Oh, the Audi of Stereotypy goes a little bit wide on the exit of that corner, but Cletus is too far back to take advantage of it. Oh, Stereotypy's gone wide. That's going to compromise his exit. Cletus is going to go side by side into bomb hole. And Cletus gets the move done. Stereotypy is not done yet though. He could come back at him. We're on board with him now. Stereotypy's got a good exit here. I think he's going to have to run on Cletus. He's going to go to the inside, is he? Yep. Almost going into the wall there. Cletus leaves in space. Who's going to be the first one into turn 1? And Stereotypy moves back ahead. It's good racing between the two drivers, but Stereotypy is struggling on traction in that Audi. So if I was Cletus, just keep up the pressure. Stereotypy goes a little bit deep, but Cletus just can't really take advantage of it. Just see at the Audi just struggling on traction. They're going a little bit sideways when he puts the loud pedal on. And he's on the grass there in the braking. He's gone very deep. This is an opportunity for Cletus. Cletus will not pass that opportunity up. He says, thank you very much. I won't have a receipt. I won't be returning it. P5 for Cletus. Gap down to 2.2 seconds now for Morex, and Michael Clark, he is pouring the pressure on. This could be a firework finish here in Norfolk, Snetterton. What is the gap going to be when they cross the start-finish line? It was 2.2. It's going to be, when the UI updates, it's 2/10 of the last lap, so 2 seconds now. There's 2.5 minutes remaining. The pressure is on the Texan Michael Clark. Oh, there's more. It goes a little bit wide. That would have lost him a little bit of time. Let's just quickly jump on board with the 88 of Bailey, because there's a right ding-dong battle here happening between the two Porsches. We've got Anderson in 13th, Bailey 14th, Trotty 15th, Jamie Rees a little further back. We've got a 3 or 4-way battle here. Matthew Lemon is also involved. In fact, Anderson is side by side with, is that Bailey? Is Anderson and Bailey going side by side into turn 1? There's Paul Trotman in the Aston Martin trying to get involved as well. And there's contact between the two Porsches. I think Trotman goes through. Trotman takes 2 cars in one corner. Trotman was taking full advantage of the Porsche squabbling away, and I think MPL is going to have a move up the inside of the 88 of Bailey, but Bailey closes that door at the inside. Good defensive driving there from Lee Bailey, but Paul Trotman goes through up into P12. Gap down to 1.5 seconds now. Morex really is piling this pressure on. We've got the Portuguese, we've got the American battling for pole. Let's jump on board with Morex and see the rear of that BMW coming closer and closer into view. We've got a minute left. This is going to be, what, 1 lap? Pressure is on Michael Clark. Can he hold off for his maiden victory in Formula Racing League GT3 ACC PlayStation 5? Final lap, here we go. What have you got, guys? He's got a good run here. Moritz Mark is going to have to go defensive into turn 1, turn 2. He's heavy on the brakes. Clark's got the inside. Moritz is going to have a better potential exit though. He's going to be under so much pressure. Michael Clark is going to be so nervous in that car. I would be if I was him. Oh, it's a little bit squirrely on the power. The BMW. He's got to watch the inside, because Moritz on the last lap for the race lead. Moritz won't be afraid to send it. Drama here in Norfolk. Last lap of the sprint race. 20 minutes of raining in the wet. And we've got a battle for the lead as Morex has lost it, and that is potentially giving the precious breathing space that Michael Clark needs to bring home his first victory in FRL. But he's missed the apex a little bit there, Clark. And this battle is not done just yet. He's got to keep it steady through the left and right hander of Brundle and Nelson. And there is a car up ahead as well, back marker. And Clark will just be getting a little bit distracted. It's always neat and tidy from Clark, real neat and tidy. So here he is. He's a couple of corners away from his maiden victory. It's been a superb drive from him. He's going to do it. Michael Clark is going to be your sprint race winner here at Snetterton. The lights are flashing. A fantastic win. Morex comes home in P2. So, oh, apologies. Buzoff is going to come home in 3rd. Daniel Naisbitt is rounding the final corner. He will be finishing in 4th. 3rd in class. Naisbitt will certainly take that from the sprint race. Stereotypy in 5th. And look at this battle here. Moggs is back up to 6th. He's going to take it. Freeman is going to be 7th. McCutcheon 8th. KM is 9th. Wow, we had a right change there. So McCutcheon takes second in class. KM takes the final third podium position in AM class. Captain is going to come home in 10th overall, fourth in class. Paul Trotman, a respectable finish for him in P11. The Triple A of Anderson, now he's been in the wars, and I suspect he's going to be in the steward's room as well. Come home 12th overall. Lee Bailey 13th, a good race from him, he was involved. Matthew Lemon in 14th. Chris Gedman, who we didn't actually see much on stream, comes home in P15th. Jamie Rees 16th. HP8 Gamer coming across the line, he finishes 20th. We have Call Me CJ in 17th, and your pole sitter, Pixel of Chaos, who had a disastrous race really, is going to come home all the way down in 18th. 18th for car 18. Better luck in the feature race for the pole sitter, Pixel of Chaos. And I've got Tristan, who's the last car on track. He's all the way down in 19th. Not sure what happened to Cletus. He's finished 21st, didn't actually finish the race. So I'm not sure what happened to Cletus. I think he was running 8th or 9th at one point. So, that is your sprint race. Wow, what a win for Michael Clark. He'll be absolutely thrilled with that. We've got a couple of minutes for the server to reset, and then we will be good to go for the 40-minute feature race here at Snetterton. I'll be back with you in a couple of moments. And I'm back. So, server has reset and we are ready to go. Well, we're a minute away before we're away for the formation lap for the 40-minute race 2 feature race here at Snetterton. And look at the track conditions. It is a greasy track. It has been raining, but look, there is no rain forecast in the next 15 minutes. It's a 40-minute race, so you could potentially have changeable conditions again if there is a light rain cloud that comes over the track, but the drivers will be starting on dry tyres looking at that forecast, but it could be tricky conditions for the first few minutes as that track dries up, as it's currently greasy. So
30 seconds.
just about surviving, I think, for the first few minutes and waiting for the track just to come to the car, come to the tyres a little bit, get the tyres warmed up, get the pressure into them, get the heat into them.
20 seconds.
So 20 seconds away from the start of this formation lap, and Pixel Chaos will be hoping for a better start compared to this sprint race where he was just absolutely swallowed up before even turn 1. I think he was like down to P4 or 5 before turn 1 even got into the braking zone. Oh, Will Friedman is started from the pits. I'm not sure if that's a bug or if he's not pressed start in time. I hope he wasn't in the garage having a cigarette and he's not got back to the car in time. That's painful for Will Friedman. Everyone else has got away cleanly. So, Pixel Chaos leads the grid. Our first ever race winner in FRL, Michael Clark in second, Stereotypy third, Naisbit fourth, Moggs fifth. And Cletus actually got disconnected in the last race, so he's had to rejoin from 22nd position, so he will be at the back of the grid, albeit, well, 21st technically, with Will Friedman starting from the pit lane. A shame for him. I'm surprised to not see the Porsches higher up the grid. There's a lot of Porsches towards the back of the grid. The Porsche is a quick car around here. So the track has already changed from greasy to fast, so the tyres will be getting nice and warm. But look at that, 15 minutes time, there is potential light rain on the horizon here in Norfolk. This could get tricky for these guys. If it just stays at greasy though, slick tyres are still the optimum tyre. It's only when it changes to damp is when you're coming into trouble with dry tyres. And that only looks like very light rain, so they shouldn't have to pit for wet tyres if it only goes to greasy. But the pressures will be affected, the PSIs in those tyres will be affected, so they could be running at too low pressure, and that will compromise the car. So the ones to watch here, I would say Moggs, Morex, Buzov, Stereotypy, those are the ones who can make a lot of moves here, being a little bit out of position on grid. But Clark will be hoping for a repeat of last race where he got away cleanly, took the lead before turn 1. Pixel of Chaos, can he get a better start? We'll soon find out as they round the final corner. So we're approaching the start-finish line where the green flag will be waving for 40 minutes of GT3 racing here on PureSimGear Super Sprint Sunday on FRL PlayStation 5. We're about to go racing for the 40-minute feature race Pixel of Chaos has got a better start, and we are green. It's a drive-through for Daniel McCutcheon. 778 Aston Martin drive-through down the inside of Stereotypy the Audi, the 333 Audi, going to have the inside line to turn 1. Pixel of Chaos leaves him room. We've got Dan Naisbitt down the inside of Michael Clark as well. Naisbitt going to move up to 3rd position. Naisbitt up to 3rd. Moggs is off. Moggs is also off. Clark is quickly under pressure. I think that's Morex. It is. It's Morex, the 99 Audi. But a better start for Pixel of Chaos. But he finds himself in 2nd place with Naisbitt up to 3rd. Great move down the inside as Morex has a look at the inside of Clark. Captain 6th, Booze off 7th, Trotty 8th, great start from Trotty, Jamie Rees 9th, Gedman's 10th, he's down the outside of Adam Anderson I think. No, it's Daniel McCutcheon he was on the outside of. Daniel McCutcheon's now got Call Me CJ having a look at the inside. Call Me CJ, he's got the better line. Daniel McCutcheon with a drive-through penalty speeding at the start or out of position, one of the two. And now Bailey's going to have a run on Anderson. Anderson's going to have a run on McCutcheon. And the HB8 game, we've got a line of 4 Porsches. As they all go flowing. Oh god, there's a lot of guys going very quick into a very slow part of the track. And we've got cars off. I can't work out who's who. There's that many cars on track at the moment. MPL, the inside of Smithy. Of Tristan, sorry. And that's Cletus. He started 21st, and that's Moggs. So Moggs has a disastrous start, and they're Will Freeman all the way back. So Stereotypy leads. He's got a 2-point-second gap to Naisbitt. Naisbitt's got up to 2nd, so Pixel of Chaos has lost out, and I think Clark's gone up to 3rd position, and Moritz down the inside of Pixel of Chaos, and Boozoff is behind these guys. This is a very close battle between the top 5 here. On the outside, Moritz on the outside of Pixel of Chaos gets the move done. Pixel of Chaos is struggling for speed here, and now he's going to have the 95 AMG Mercedes of Boozoff looking to make a move into the hairpin left-hander. In the braking zone, down the inside, sends it down the inside, a little bit of door banging there. It's fair and hard racing. Pixel of Chaos having a better exit, but it's going to have to leave space on the inside, but Boozoff just pulled out that one slightly in the braking zone, so real good race between Pixel of Chaos and Boozoff. And up in the inside, up ahead, that's Morex up the inside of Clark. Clark went a little bit too deep. And all while these guys are battling, Stereotypy is increasing his lead. But here is Boozoff on the back of Pixel of Chaos. Great shot of all the cars coming through there. Chris Gedman is up to 8th place, but he's got Call Me CJ all over the back of him, the 2 BMWs, and then we've got the 3rd BMW of Jamie Rees in the background there. But this is the closest battle as Call Me CJ just gets a little bit out of control on the exit of Bomb Hole. Chris Gedman though, great so far, up to 8th, and then we've got a right little train forming here. We've got a battle of the Porsches. We've got HP8 Gamer in P12, we've got Tristan in 13th, Smithy in 14th, Cletus 15th, and Bailey 16th. We've got a right battle here for the mid-pack. Is Smithy going to make a move on Tristan into turn 1? I don't think he is. Could he make a move into the hairpin? No. That's the best opportunity for overtaking to get good exit out of turn 1. As Moggs almost goes into the back of that Porsche. A couple of Porsches running wide. And Cletus is now going to get the move on the outside. Oh, there's contact! Oh, dearie me. Cletus is going to be done for there with damage. MPL is now going to be in a position to move up ahead. Looks like Cletus just was moving across to the right hand side of the track, and the Porsche just collected him and straight into the barrier for Cletus. But look up ahead, look, the Porsches are all over. We've got like a Porsche Cup race going on here. HB8 Gamer, Tristan, Smithy, Bailey all battling away in the Porsche. Let's just have a quick look up ahead as well. So Naisbit still P2, Morex is 3rd, Clark is 4th, Booze off 5th, Pixel Chaos is now 6th, Trotty 7th, Gedman 8th, Call Me CJ still putting Gedman under a lot of pressure, Jimmy Rees 10th, Anderson is having a better race so far up to P11, then we've got that huge gap to the Porsches in 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th. Let's just go on board with Call Me CJ because he's having a cracking battle with Gedman. But so far, 6 minutes into this race, it's been a fairly good, hard racing for the majority of drivers. But look at that, 15 minutes time, heavy rain. Now, that heavy rain, that is going to make the track damp, wet, sorry, never mind damp or greasy. So these drivers will have to make a pit stop to change onto wet tyres if that heavy rain does arrive in 15 minutes time. Call Me CJ 323 BMW is still putting Gedman under a lot of pressure. But Gedman is a cool cucumber at times, he won't be fazed by it. Let's just have a look up ahead with Boozoff because he's under pressure. He's on the inside of Michael Clark. Boozoff is up to P4. Clark looked like he just kind of left him the space and they got the move done. And now we're on board with Morex. He is now going to put Daniel Naisbit under pressure and Dan Naisbit just fall back. And let's go on board with Naisbit. Here he is in the Lamborghini on board. This is what he wanted. Been asking me all week, make sure you do some on-board shots of me in my Lambo. Well, here you are, Dan. Oh, it goes a little bit wide. A little bit squirrely through the bomb hole there. Dan Naisbit. His bomb hole would be certainly squirrely earlier on today, watching Newcastle United lose to the mighty Arsenal. So let's just see Gedman and Call Me CJ. Here's my number, so call me maybe. He goes to the inside switcheroo of Chris Gedman at turn 1. Gedman takes the corner first. Very close and hard racing between these two. Cracking racing between the two BMW drivers. Oh, there's a little bit of contact, but both drivers go deep. And the 242 of Paul Trotman is going to be moving up past Call Me CJ. So Trotman moves up. He certainly had a reputation in a sprint race for taking advantage of drivers' misfortunes. Well, he's done it again, Paul Trotman. Up to P9 now. Up to P8, sorry. There was some flashing lights from Call Me CJ as well at Gedman earlier on. Maybe not happy with the early braking, but I don't think you can blame a driver for braking differently at a corner. That is just, you know, every driver's going to have different braking points. You know, you've got to adjust to that being the car behind. And we've got yellow flags out. I think Will Friedman and Cletus have had a coming together. Will Friedman up to 20th, but there's now yellow flags out and green flags are now waving, so they're back underway. But I think Friedman and Cletus had a coming together there. And Cletus, look at that front of that BMW, severely damaged. Severely damaged there. I think he's flashing his lights, may not be happy with Will Friedman. The Frenchman could be visiting the steward's room after that one. Let's go back on board with CJ and Trotman, because look, these two are side by side going into the start finish straight. CJ is going to have a very good run here on Trotty. On board now with a 323 BMW of CJ. As Chris Gedman up ahead has gone wide. Chris Gedman is going to collect Paul Trotman. Oh, there's contact between three drivers. CJ's managed to keep it out of the barrier. Oh, there's more contact behind. Oh, dearie me, what has happened there? Has Jamie Rees been caught up in that? I think Jamie Rees got caught up in that. Moggs having to get out the back of the number 9 HB8 Gamer in the braking zone. So I think Chris Gedman went wide and lost the control of the car, which collected, well, Trotty slowed down, did the sensible thing and slowed down. But CJ just couldn't react quick enough and went into the back of Trotty, and then I think Jamie Rees collected, or Gedman collected Jamie Rees as we got Will Freeman. I think he's retiring from the race. I think, oh no, he is still running. Freeman is still running. And I think Cletus has retired from this race, and KM, who is bottom last 22nd, is still running. Let's just join on board with Morex because he has closed this gap considerably to BRG Stereotypy in the battle for the lead in Pro Class, and the overall race is underway as Morex goes completely wide. Can he keep it out of the barrier? He doesn't! Morex makes contact with the tyre wall at turn 1. Where's Naisbitt? Naisbitt's going to go on through. Where's Buzoff? Buzoff goes on through. So Morex has lost 3 positions there. 2 positions, sorry. How much damage is Morex carrying now after hitting the tyre wall at turn 1? Let's just join on board with Buzoff as well, because he is closing up to that Lamborghini of Daniel Naisbitt. Will Freeman is off track again. The other flags at... Oh, Freeman's retired back to the pits. The number 8, Will Freeman, is out of tonight's race. Battle for podium positions is hotting up here in Snetterton, as we've got the 95 AMG Mercedes of Nikola Buzoff is closing up on Dan Naisbitt. The Lamborghini, Buzoff has a look down the inside. Stereotypy will be loving this. He would have loved the sight of Morex going into the tyre wall at turn 1. He's now got a lead of 6 seconds, Stereotypy. Let's just jump on board with Captain, because he's got a little bit of a queue of cars as Captain goes wide. Tristan is going to go on through, is he? Is Moggs going to go on through? He is. Moggs go through. What's Paul Trotman? Paul Trotman, we saw have that incident with Gedman and CJ. So, and the damage on that BMW of Jamie Rees. Battle here for 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th. As here comes the rain. The rain has started. It's light rain at the moment, but look at the radar. It's going to get heavier. We have got changeable conditions here, ladies and gents, as Nikola Buzoff has moved up into P2 of this race. Dan Naisbitt now dropped down to 3rd. He's now got the charging Morex on his tail. Tristan goes deep into turn 2. Moggs says thank you very much. Is Tristan going to get a better run though? Moggs going to have the inside line. Captain's there as well. Moggs gets the move done. I think Captain's going to have a look at the inside of Tristan as well. Let's go on board with the helicam. Down the inside, Captain has a quick look. Moggs is a little bit conservative on braking. Tristan was better. Captain's still there, tucks in behind Tristan though. Battle for 9th, 10th and 11th here as Captain goes a little bit wide. Just keeping an eye on that track condition. So the forecast has just changed again a little bit. It's going to get heavier, but the heavy rain has just changed to like light rain. So it may not get as wet, but let's just keep our eyes on the track conditions, because if it changes to damp, wet tyres will be optimum. Let's just have a look with Morex, because Morex has got a way better exit than Daniel Naisbitt. Dan Naisbitt is going to struggle to keep hold of this place, and Morex goes through to take P3 in this feature race. Let's just jump on board back with our runner in 9th, Moggs in P9, Tristan 10th, Captain 11th, Jamie Rees in 12th. But here is the battle for P10 with Captain and Jamie Rees. Oh, Captain and Tristan, beg your pardon. Captain got a great run. That Audi's going to be better in a straight line. So Captain moves up to take P10. HB8 Gamer, and MPO and McCutcheon very close there, the two Aston Martins battling away into turn 1, P14th and 15th. Danny McCutcheon haven't deserved that drive through, has found them all the way down into 15th. So the track has just changed to greasy, but look, the forecast has just changed again. Heavy rain in 5 minutes, we could be having a little bit of a thunderstorm here. This could get really spicy, ladies and gentlemen. McCutcheon is going to have a move up the inside of Matthew 11. He is, but he's not going to make it stick. Gedbin is coming up as well to these guys. Gedbin looking the more confident driver out of these three at the moment. Matthew Lemon really struggling on traction. Gedbin's looking mighty quick in these conditions. He's not. The two Aston Martins look like they're struggling for traction, but Chris Gedbin is just like driving now like it's dry. Battle for 13th position here. So, top 5 are just starting to stabilise their gaps to each other. Pixel of Chaos still running 6th. Anderson is up to 7th now, but he's under pressure from CJ. Oh, there's a little bit of contact between the two. Tristan just, CJ just gets off the power a little bit to let Anderson maintain his position. And we've got Tristan boxing. Tristan is boxing now. Is he boxing for wet tyres? HB8 Gamer is boxing as well. So our driver's making an early move to wet tyres here. There is no mandatory stop, but the conditions are going to be worsening. If you look at that radar, 5 minutes time, heavy rain could be hitting Norfolk here. It could be hitting Snetterton. Track is still greasy. I would still say that's still the right tyre for being on dries. If it changes to damp, that is the crossover, I think, between dry and wet tyres. And the rain looks like it's getting heavier. And Smithy is also in the box. So these three drivers boxing for wet tyres, I'd assume. So Tristan leaves. Let's just keep an eye on his pace. He's down into 15th. I think he's actually further back than that. So Stereotypy leads with a gap of 4.2 seconds. Booze off his second. HB8 Gamer drive-through penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Booze off his second. Morex is third, and HB8 Gamer is going to come out into the middle of these leaders here. So we've got to be careful when rejoining the track. And Naisbit pits. So Naisbit is boxing for wet tyres as well. We've got more drivers boxing behind. So Pixel of Chaos follows him in. So Anderson is going to go through. So track has now changed to damp, and this is going to be the crossover between those wet and dry tyres. As I think we've got Captain off in the background. Captain's off, and that will be the tricky conditions. This is where it's going to get tricky for these leaders. I think we've just seen a mistake from Stereotypy. Boozoff is right behind the race leader here. The battle for the race lead. Stereotypy has made a mistake in these tricky conditions. The dry tyres are just completely losing grip now as this track changes to damp. The heavy rain is coming. It's getting heavier by the minute. These drivers are going to have to box for wet tyres. 20 minutes remaining, halfway into this race. Let's just keep our eyes on Naisbit and Chaos to see where they come out compared to the guys who have stayed out on the dries. Captain, MPL and Gedman are all in to change their tyres. Yeah, Stereotypy is struggling here.
We're halfway through
So what are the leaders going to do? Are they going to dive into the pits? They should do. Look at that forecast though. It's going to stop raining in 15 minutes. This is horrendous conditions for these drivers with just constant changing forecast. Well, who knows what's going to happen with the track if it does stop raining. Stereotypic continues. So does Boozoff. Does Moritz continue? Moritz continues. So the top three are staying out. Interesting. What's Clark going to do? Clark is going to continue. He's been overtaken though by Bailey, and I think Bailey's come into the pits to change his tyres. So interestingly, the top three are staying out. Oh, look what's happened here! Oh, it's Chris Gedman, the back marker. Chris Gedman's going to have to get out of the way of these guys battling. There's the flashing lights from Boozoff. I don't blame him. He'll the inside. Don't make contact, guys, please. So Gedman having to get out of the way here. The top three. We know Gedman's got wet tyres on, so let's just see what the difference is between Gedman and Boozoff. Gedman's on wets, Boozoff on dries. But we've got heavy rain now. For the next 5-10 minutes, it's going to be heavy, heavy rain. And this track is going to quickly get wetter and wetter and wetter. Are the top three just gambling? Have they looked at that forecast and think, oh, 15 minutes time it's going to dry up? Are they just going to try and stay out? But they could be making a mistake here, because the likes of Naisbit, who has boxed for wets, who I think was running P5 overall, he could be making time here. So the track has now changed to wet, so those dry tyres are going to be completely like ice skates. As you can see, Gedman is a lot quicker than these guys, and Gedman on the wet tyres. So what are the leaders going to do? Oh, Stereotypy's off. Stereotypy's lost it. Oh, it's collected Gedman. Oh, dearie me. Was that an unsafe rejoin? Boozoff box. Moritz is going to continue. Moritz is continuing. So Boozoff is boxing for wet tyres. Moritz is going to continue onwards. Stereotypy is boxed. Clark is boxing now. Anderson, he's not boxed yet either, has he? Is he going to box for wet tyres? He isn't. Anderson is staying out. CJ is staying out. Here's Moggs. I don't know where Dan Naisbit is. Let's just keep an eye on Daniel Naisbit. He's a long way back. He was running in clean air. I don't know if he's... Let's just keep an eye on where he comes out compared to the likes of Stereotypy and Boozoff here. But Chris Gedman is going to be absolutely furious. He got collected with Stereotypy. So drivers are now leaving the pit lane. Where is Naisbit going to rejoin? So Boozoff is now coming out. Where is the 333 of Stereotypy? Is Naisbit going to get the jump on BRG Stereotypy? I think he is. He has. So Naisbit has gained on Stereotypy and Clark. Good decision from Naisbit to box early. So Moritz, Anderson, CJ are still running, and these are on dry tyres. Boozoff is running, I think, 4th. Is that not updated? Let's just keep an eye on the leaderboard to see where he actually is on track. So it is P5 for Boozoff, so we've got to keep an eye on that gap, because Moritz, Anderson and CJ have not yet boxed. They're running dry tyres. But this is a cracking effort from Moritz to still be keeping that car on track with dry tyres. He's going to stay out again. Moritz is just going for it. He is banking on this track to dry up when it stops raining in 15 minutes time. But that's going to be the end of the race. This is a big gamble to stay on dry tyres, as Anderson here. We've got yellow flags all over the place. We've got car 909 off at turn 2. That's KM. Anderson's going to stay out as well. Oof, I don't know. I don't know if this is the right decision to stay out or not. This is going to be really interesting to see what happens here between Moritz, Anderson, and CJ, and compared to the likes of Boozoff, Naisbit, Stereotypy. I think Stereotypy's lost too much time with that damage. He's 6 seconds off Naisbit, so Boozoff is probably the biggest competitor to Moritz here. There's McCutcheon. I think actually Boozoff has now moved ahead of 4th, so Boozoff is on a charge. McCutcheon 5th, Naisbit 6th. And here is your race. Look at that track, the puddles are starting to form. Heavy rain here. He's driving like he's got wet tyres on. I'm definitely not being funny here. He's definitely not boxed, has he? I don't think he has. So, cracking drive from Moritz so far. Anderson's way far back though. So this is between Moritz and Boozoff for the race lead. The track is still wet, but it is going to get lighter. The rain is going to get lighter. So I think Moritz is going to keep on going. I suppose he's got to now. He's committed to this strategy. 27 seconds to Anderson. It could be more than that now as he crosses the line. We'll find out. As CJ's off. Boozoff will be looking to take control. He's back on track though, CJ. Naisbit and McCutcheon. Yeah, Stereotypy. Damage with Gedman is going to cost him. Pixel Chaos in P8. Clark is 9th. Moggs is 10th. The field is very spread out at the moment. I've got the battle between Captain and Jamie Rizzo, the closest battle on track, as Captain goes a little bit wide. So what a conundrum and a race we have on at the moment. We've got cars staying out on dry tyres in wet conditions, and we've got cars, or pretty much 3/4 of the grid, as boxed for wet. So if you're just joining us, Moritz is your race leader on dry tyres, and he's got a 29-second lead to Anderson, who's also stayed out. So the real battle for the race lead here is Moritz and Boozoff. Boozoff is about, I would say, 35 seconds off Moritz, but Boozoff has boxed for wet as we see Moritz going wide, going off track. Boozoff is a long way behind though. Is that Boozoff going past CJ? It is. So Boozoff is now at the 3rd. So CJ, who has not yet boxed, he's been passed by Boozoff. So the lead is 31 seconds. We'll just find out what the gap is as they come across the line again. So it's Moritz P1. Anderson just coming around the right hander now. This has worked out. This has been a ballsy move from Moritz to stay out on dry tyres, and I think it's going to pay off. I think the gap between him and Boozoff is just far too much to make that time up in 10 minutes. It's far too much. So the gap is 29 seconds to Anderson, and Boozoff is going to be further back than that. Let's see what the gap is between him and Anderson. So it's 11 seconds, so it's almost 40-second gap between Boozoff and Moritz. Moritz has played this like an absolute charm, but he's got to keep the car on track with dry tyres in wet conditions, but the rain is going to let up a little bit in 5 minutes time, but he had to do something catastrophic to throw away a 30-second lead. The one driver who it has worked out for is Daniel Naisbit. He's gained a couple of places by boxing onto those wet tyres early. And the battle in AM class, CJ is currently the race leader in AM, with McCutcheon in second and Clark in third. So Clark, who got his first FRL win in the sprint race, is hopefully on course to follow it up with a third place finish in class. McCutcheon is just closing the gap to the number 18 Aston Martin of Pixel of Chaos. The gap is still 30 seconds to Anderson. This has been an absolute sublime drive from Morex. Just stay out on dry tyres when it was raining like mad. As you can see, the rain is just starting to let off a little bit, so it's going to start coming back to those dry tyres ever so slightly. 8 minutes remaining of this race, and like a good 30-second lead to Adam Anderson, who's also not yet boxed. I say not yet boxed. He doesn't have the box. And these drivers thought, I'm not going to box for wet. I'm going to stay out on dry tyres, and it has paid off. It's paid off big time for Anderson. He was all the way down in 9th to 10th. He's gained all the way up to 2nd place by staying out onto dry tyres. He needed a good result because his championship competitor Ahmed Aldoy is not racing tonight, so he had a massive opportunity to close the gap in points tonight, and he could do this by finishing 2nd. Did not have a great sprint race though, finishing 14th I think in the first race tonight, but following it up so far with a cracking drive from Adam Anderson. But the gap between him and Buzov, this just shows you, the gap last lap was 10 seconds between Anderson and Buzov. It's now down to 1.2, so those wet tyres are clearly the optimal tyre. And I think Buzov is going to go back up to P2. He was 2nd before the pit stops, but he isn't going to have enough time to catch Morex unless Morex makes a huge mistake. So Buzov is going to get Anderson. The wet tyre is just clearly the better traction out of the corner, and that is Buzov moving up to 2nd place in this race. So Cletus is the only retiree from this race. Will Freeman is still running, but he's 6 laps down and he's in 21st place. KM is 3 laps down in 20th, and then we've got Gedman, who is running 19th. Chris Gedman, is so unfortunate for him. He was running in the top 10, but he had just an innocent bystander when Stereotypy, his 333 Audi, went off track and he rejoined, and look at the damage to that BMW for Chris Gedman. It's so unfortunate for him as he goes off and does some grass cutting there in the wet conditions. He's safely, look, showing you how it's to be done. When you go off track, you don't just come onto track into the path of other oncoming cars. You safely wait at the side of the track and then rejoin, or attempt to rejoin in his case. He's struggling to get that pin to be pointing in the right direction, but doing the correct thing there, Gedman, and just letting those faster guys go through. So Buzov is up to 2nd. Morex is still leading this race. I can't get over by how much courage it took to stay out on dry tyres during that 10-minute downpour. And the gap is 32 seconds to Buzov, who did box. Daniel Naisbitt is actually... Oh, Daniel Naisbitt and Anderson are side by side. Naisbitt, who was one of the drivers who boxed for wet tyres, so Anderson is just starting to struggle on those dry tyres. So Naisbitt now up to a podium position. Anderson 4th. But he's got a big gap to Stereotypy, so Anderson should come home in 14th here. Stereotypy is also under pressure from Pixel Chaos. So the top 6 is all pro drivers. And then the podium positions in the AM class is CJ, McCutcheon and Clark. And Tristan is up there in 4th as well in class. Good drive from him so far. Oof! And the 4-2-3 of Smithy almost taking Anderson out there on a track rejoin. Pixel of Chaos is now side by side with Stereotypy. It's going to get the move on the outside of Bombhole. Is he going to get it? Make it? He's going to have the outside line on this very long right-hander. So Stereotypy side by side, the Audi and the Aston Martin, the battle for 5th position. Great driving between the two drivers here. And as you can see, the rain has now stopped. So the track has gone from wet to damp. So the track is just drying up ever so slightly. Is Pixel of Chaos going to get the move done into turn 1 though? Battle for 5th place here, ladies and gents. Audi versus Aston Martin. As Pixel of Chaos gets a little bit on to the wet grass. Don't want to be on there in the braking zone. Chris Gedman is out of position up ahead. And his drivers will be wanting him to get out of the way. Stereotypy certainly will be. So Gedman pulls to the side and lets Stereotypy through. Is he going to let Pixel of Chaos through? He is, I think. Yeah, he will be. Blue flags for Chris Gedman. So Moritz still leads. That gap has not come down at all. This has been an absolute awesome drive from the 99 AMG Mercedes driver of Moritz. Credit is due for staying out, making that decision. Let's just go back to Pixel of Chaos because he's still very close with Stereotypy. This is the closest battle on track. Battle for 5th place. Stereotypy is doing just enough at the moment to keep Chaos behind him. Let's just have a quick look at Captain because he's quite close with Tristan. Battle for P11. Battle for 4th and 5th place in AM class. Tristan having a great drive so far. 4th in class, 11th overall. Chaos now a lot closer to Stereotypy. So there we are, leader is on his final lap. And let's not forget, I think Moritz is also carrying damage because I'm pretty sure we saw him hit the tyre wall at turn 1 about a quarter of the way into the race. So he could be also be carrying damage on dry tyres in wet conditions, just even more adding to. And an amazing drive as well, I bet his heart sank for the moment as he saw spinning Porsche at turn 2. Moritz. Oh, we've got yellow flags out. Captain, we were on board with him and Tristan a moment ago and they've come together there. Not sure whose fault was that. Captain has gone ahead into P11. Is he going to slow down and let Tristan back through? Whether it was accidental contact? I think he has, yeah. That is good driving, sportsmanship there from Captain. I don't think they've lost no positions in the overall race. They haven't. Oh, but Tristan's hit the sausage curb. Tristan is going to be under a lot of pressure now. He hit that sausage. Porsche was certainly not like that, trust me. So there must have been accidental contact between these guys. There is Moritz. We'll just join him when he comes across the line. Oh, it's Tristan losing it on the exit, and this is going to open the door wide open to Captain. Can Captain get the move done? We're on board with the helicopter now. Captain moves ahead into P11. Good racing between these two. Can Tristan come back at him? So I don't think he can. No. So anyway, here we are, the race leader. He stayed out on dry tyres in a downpour here in Snetterton. He's going to come home with a 25-second lead. Morex is your feature race winner here at Snetterton. A fantastic drive from the Portuguese driver. Wow, what a drive from the 99 AMG Mercedes. Nikola Buzov is going to come home in a respectable second place. I think he qualified 9th or 10th, so he's done very well to come back up to P2. He boxed for wet tyres, which he thought at the time would be the right move. He would not expecting the Portuguese Morex to stay out on dry, but Buzov comes home in second. Naisbitt is going to come home in cracking third place in the Lamborghini. Great drive from Dan Naisbitt. I'm pleased you had a better result than Newcastle United, mate. Come on, you Gunners. Adam Anderson is going to gain some points in on Ahmed Al-Douri, coming home in 4th place. He will be luring that gap to Al-Douri. Pixel of Chaos, a great drive from him. He's beaten Stereotypy, managed to get past him. We saw that battle a few laps ago. Stereotypy comes home in P6. Moggs has had a better feature race compared to Sprint. He's going to come home in 7th. And CJ, who's been in the thick of it today, battling away with Gedman, he's going to come home in 8th. A strong performance from Gedman. Wee Danny McCutcheon comes home in 9th. Clark, the race winner from the sprint race, comes home in 10th. 3rd in class. So CJ is your AM class winner. McCutcheon is your 2nd place podium driver. And Clark is 3rd in class. Captain's going to come home in 4th in class, 11th overall. He's beaten Tristan with a final few minutes battle between those two. Tristan, great drive from him, 5th in class, 12th overall. Jamie Rees, 13th. Banged up BMW. Matthew Lemon, MPL in 14th. And Lee Bailey in 15th. And we've got one more car coming across the line, that's Morex, who's doing an extra lap for the sake of it. So Paul Tropman is 16th, HB8 Gamer 17th, Chris Gedman 18th, Smithy 19th, KM 20th, Will Freeman 7 laps down in 21st, and Cletus, who did not finish the race, in 22nd. So yeah, Buzov qualifying 10th, finishing 2nd, and Morex qualifying 6th, finishing 1st. So a strong night for Nikola Buzov, 3rd and 2nd overall, and Morex, who's finished 2nd in the first sprint race, has finished 1st in the feature race. So Morex and Buzov, their quality and pace really coming through. Apologies for just going on mute there for a moment. My dog was having an absolute barking fit in the background. I thought it was Dan Naisbitt breaking into a house to take out his revenge on Arsenal beating Newcastle, but no, I'm not sure what she was barking at there, but I can confirm it's not Dan Naisbitt knocking on my front door. So, hope you've enjoyed the stream tonight, guys. It's been a cracking couple of races, as it always is on a Sunday. Sunday really is just throwing up some fantastic mixed weather racing conditions. So we head to round 5 next week, which is the home of British motorsport, Silverstone. So that is going to be a fantastic couple of races. Silverstone always throws up some great racing. The track is just designed for great GT3 racing. So hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you have a cracking bank holiday Monday here in the UK, celebrating the King's coronation this weekend. Have a good week at work, school, college, uni, whatever you're doing during the week, and I will catch you all next week. Take care. Bye bye.